Hello. Bit of a delay here. This is the worst part of the stream. You guys see me? Am I live? What's up, guys? We are back. Great. I'm glad you can hear me. Man, it's been a while. I think it's been a month since I was last live with you guys. Good 69, 70 viewers. People are coming in. Looking good. Sound is good. Nice. Good. Seeing a lot of familiar faces in the chat. Hey, Mo. Mo, if you want to jump on later, let's do it because we never stream because you're in a very distant time zone. So if you're around right now, we can totally pair on this. No worries. Either way. Actually, let me message you in Telegram right now. Send you an invite, man. Just gonna send Mo an invite, then we can jump into it here. Cool. All right. How's everyone doing? I just wanted to check in. I got an announcement I wanted to make to you guys, but also I wanted to go over where we are because I think we're at a good place. We're burning like 0.3% or 0.4% of the supply every day, which is insane. The amount of stake TitanX is dropping really fast. Shogun mint is ending in 2 days. Ascendant is coming out. Ouroboros is coming out in the next week or so. We've got some cross-chain plans. We've been talking with Jake. Cross-chain for Pulse Chain for Base. Ethereum is down, but TitanX has held up really well. So there's just there's a lot going for us. Let's start with Shogun, actually. Shogun's burned, I think, 9 trillion at this point, right? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's like 8.9 trillion TitanX, which is insane. So I'm really excited for it. I mean, it looks kind of like Volt before it took off, you know, which is great. Like we could have another chart to like challenge Dragonx and burn a ton of TitanX in the process. So if it drags up TitanX, and he's not going to get that chart won't be against Dragonx, that's for sure. But I'm very much looking forward to the competition with Jake to see who can have a better chart, Shogun or Dragonx. I suspect Dragonx will be better. See, what we did with Dragonx is we really had the liquidity. We did something very sneaky where we had the liquidity very low, and then we nibbled away and we bought all the supply. I think as of today, it would be about $11 million of Dragonx. We bought that for about 1 million worth of Ethereum at the time, but the liquidity was very low. And then when we decided to kick it up a notch, then we were able to pump it super high and get all that adoption, get all that excitement, and then the farms came in and filled the liquidity. So we perfectly tuned the liquidity. And that was based on how I saw Hex go and how I saw the how Richard set up the liquidity there, and seeing that it took something like 20,000 users to get that first 10x. We wanted to do that first 10x on a lot less. So that was why we went low with the liquidity and then scaled it over time. I recommend that to everyone who's building protocols. But yeah, I would love to see some competition between Shogun and Dragon. That'd be sick. So yeah, that's ending in 2 days. I think we're really gonna see Shogun run. Like, I think we're coming to the end of the sell-off for TitanX at this point. You know, we've seen a lot of whales exit. We've seen a lot of selling. We've seen a lot of Dragonx whales capitulate. The Dragonx to Titanx ratio has held up really well. We're at 3.7K followers, so we're almost back to all-time high in terms of followers. Obviously, you guys have been seeing the Crypto Rover tweets. Those have been working really well, getting a lot of engagement on that. I have some ideas for how we can jack it up even more. That engagement is like a long-term engagement. It's not something that's going to be ending. So Yeah, we have a guy with 1 million subs in our corner now, and yeah, I mean, he hasn't done his YouTube video yet. He's going to do a YouTube video for us. We have Crypto Smith doing a YouTube video. So we've got some guys making YouTube videos. I'm sure we'll be doing more of that. Um, and that's really good for us. And we also have Ascendant is going to be launching. So I've been working, actually today I was testing Ascendant a little bit. It's already in a test environment. The UI is already up. It looks beautiful. And yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully I can stream with the guys there, like get them on a stream and get them to show off their own product. But I'm excited for it. You know, it's built on top of Dragonx and it burns Tink, which is really good for both products. It's good for the entire ecosystem to burn Tink. I recommend it. But I love the design of Ascendant because it's got this cell shaded design, like cartoonish design, but it's very unique. Like it really differs from a lot of the other DeFi protocols that their design language, which I really like. I made a few design recommendations myself, and it's looking really beautiful. So that's looking good. And I'm sure I'll be also pairing with them for marketing. So I'll do live streams. I can connect them with people that can help them get the word out. And yeah, they're using the best auditors. I don't know the devs, but they're using the best auditors. I was pushing for them to use the best auditors. They actually, I don't think we talked since they got the grant either. So the Dragonx team gave them a $10,000 grant, so they could help afford quality auditors. We've talked to some other teams about doing that, but it's something that we don't want to start throwing around throwing around money. So the team needs to be pretty well established, and so we're not in a big rush. But if an opportunity does present, then we are open to doing that again. But how cool is that, right? That we have an ecosystem where we're doing grants. We have big players talking about us. We have accumulation, and we have our users growing. So I think it's very bullish. We're in a good spot. Ethereum dumped, and like we're still in a good spot. So just imagine when Ethereum starts to do its run, right? Like we're still living up to the leverage play on Ethereum. That's still in play, right? So if you came here for a leverage play on Ethereum, and you're still getting that. And then we have Ouroboros as well. So I've been talking to Super Shadowy, really exceptional dev, and he's going to be launching Ouroboros soon. So also connected him with a couple different auditors. He ended up going with Pashov for the main audits. I'm going to pour some water here. Pashov is the dedicated auditor for Uniswap. So really big player in crypto, and considered to be one of the best auditors. So Ouroboros is very complicated, and it needed a lot of time and care to be done right. But I think Pashov, because Pashov has multiple teams and they work independently, so you get kind of multiple independent audits in one. It's very, very thorough. I mean, it's been audited for like a month at this point, which is intense. It's a really intense auditing process. So very, very happy about where we're ending up on that, because we want this one to be secure. It's going to be huge for TitanX. You're talking about potentially millions in terms of a supply sink, and having our own stablecoin is really cool. I mean, we could potentially like have a credit card in the future, and you could cash out right to a credit card with your stablecoin. They have these cool cards we were looking at that support ERC20 tokens. So you could have all the TitanX tokens and a stablecoin as well to support there. So that would be really cool. Let me see if I'm just make sure I'm on Twitter here. Streamed. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, and that, I mean, the thing about ORX is you kind of raise the debt caps over time. You want the system to like get to a normal state. And you want people to scale into it gently. So you raise the debt caps over time, and it could be millions and tens of millions, and there's a lot of economic energy can go into that as a supply sink, right? Meanwhile, Build on TitanX is still burning a lot of tokens. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Let's see what else. I mean, there's also, so I've been talking to Jake about some potential cross-chain initiatives. I'm not going to like announce anything today, but I'm very bullish on Pulse Chain. I would like to see us go over to Pulse Chain. I'm also interested in base. Jake's really interested in base. I think base could be a good one. So I'm interested in those two chains. I'm not sure where exactly Jake will land, but I think Pulse Chain and base, just Pulse Chain just because of the proximity of the community, and then base just because it's it's like a it's a great for developer. The chain is great for developers. It has tons of adoption. There are memes. There's DeFi. Super low fees. So yeah, actually, Mela Cryptic just said that. Yeah, Pulse and base. Yeah, exactly. We're actually aiming for that. Um, Nothing concrete yet, but in the new year, I think that's the time when we're going to start jumping into that stuff. Things are a bit quiet, like volume is down. Um, but that usually happens before a big run up, right? You have a consolidation, you have volume drop, and you have the price go sideways. It's pretty straightforward. And meanwhile, the supply is just burning. One thing Jake's been mentioning on Twitter is that basically that as the adoption goes up, so does the burning of the supply. I don't think people recognize that. Like this is the burning at a very low supply, like a very low adoption, right? The burning of the supply that's happening now is basically just diehards that are waiting out the dip. So you can imagine that when we get more traction, when we get more users coming in, when the people really start to pile in to crypto, we could double or triple our adoption, right? And at that stage, then there's a lot more users and there's a lot more burning. So that's kind of the goal, right? We want to effectively set up this entire ecosystem to be in a place where, as the adoption increases, the burning increases, and it's just a virtuous cycle. And I think we're pretty damn close to that, you know. Like that's the thing. Something that really distinguishes us from another meme coin, right? Is we are trying to engineer the success as hard as we can, and you guys are trying to engineer the success as hard as you can by building. Whereas with a meme coin, it's just 100% promotion and selling against the other guy. But here, there's a bunch of different games you can play. TitanX is quite liquid. There's staking, there's mining, there's auctions, there's going to be lending. So it's like an entire ecosystem where you can speculate, and it benefits everyone. So Q1 2025. Yeah, I think Q1 2025 is looking really good, man. Like we have big plans for the year. A lot of stuff we want to build. I'm dying to get PowerX going. Like I want to fire up PowerX so bad. We just need higher hydro mining ROI. We might do it with Taurus. Like if the mining ROI is not returning, if the mining ROI is not returning fast enough, we might do Taurus first, and then we'll switch back to people, allowing people to promote both through their own social channels. Just imagine that, like, it's decentralized, right? It's a decentralized marketing platform. So that then you're leveraging all. I mean, look at all the impressions we get on Twitter. I don't know if anyone's combined them. I'd be interested to know what the combined impressions are for TitanX content. Just imagine a good percentage of that used to promote and get people into the project, right? That's real power. That's really unlocking the power of the community. So really excited about that one. That should be good. Opinion ORX. I know Super Shadowy. We've had a couple phone calls. I've seen his face. Really smart guy. I think he's working in the best interest of the community. I mean, we've been talking for quite some time, so I would say he's trustable at this point. It's a bit like Mike Dean, where Mike Dean never really showed his face, but he did other things that kind of just showed that he's with us. So I have a lot of trust around it. Obviously, that's not an endorsement because people do crazy things, right? People take opportunities and absolutely immolate them. But from everything I've seen, I really believe that he is a good actor. Hopefully, I will not be proven wrong. But and that's not to say you should be aping any product that I'm saying. Take your time, especially with something like ORX, where the debt cap is going to be raised over time. There's really no need to rush it. So just take your time with ORX stuff. But I do believe Super Shadowy is a good actor. Like from what I've seen, he's a smart guy. He's a good actor in the system for sure. He has big ambitions, and he's a really smart guy, and we're lucky to have him. I actually have that planned. Mello, I have a giveaway planned, but I'm doing it. Well, I'm trying to do it with Crypto Rover because he has 1 million followers. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if Rover does giveaways necessarily, but I'm pushing him to do a Dragonx giveaway. So it would be a good Christmas giveaway, right? What's PowerX? Hey, caveman, you might be new. PowerX is actually, you can go to powerx.win right now. It's a referral system that allows anybody to effectively refer people to create hydro miners. So I would take a look. It's really cool. It's totally on chain, totally decentralized, and it can be massive because it leverages the entire community. You know, whereas it's not just another guy building a protocol, right? It's the kind of thing we should be building more of, which is what community tools can we build that will create shared value. And so I think that's a good one. Basically, just a referral program for hydro miners. When Death Star? So Death Star is a collection of ideas that we have effectively solidified that we think would be very competitive to some of the other protocols within TitanX and would greatly benefit Dragonx. Whether those end up in one protocol or multiple protocols in the end is to be determined. There was a point when we were prioritizing it higher, but now we're kind of waiting to see where things lie. It has a lot of cool ideas. It's designed to compete with Shogun and Volt, but it has a lot of other. It has massive benefits for Dragonx. But whether all those concepts that we came up with will end up in one protocol or not remains to be seen. So we're waiting to see how some other protocols play out, what we can learn from them, and then we'll move from there. So that is what Death Star is. It's effectively, we looked at some of the protocols that were out there, and we thought that we could improve upon it and add even more to it, and basically, create our own kind of variation on it that we thought would be extremely competitive based on what we've seen. Combining all of our abilities together effectively, like combining the community marketing aspect, combining the integrating with Dragonx aspect, right, and other things which are secret, but there are many different concepts built into this protocol, but it's not something that we're rushing. We have a pretty heavy workload right now. Right now we're taking care of Taurus. Taurus is our big one. We're also finalizing the Pulse Chain game for SolidX. So those are our two big development initiatives right now, but we'll have some other development initiatives. ORX? ORX is different than PowerX. PowerX is a thing. Yeah, PowerX is a thing. I just explained what Death Star is. It's really cool. I mean, yeah, we added a lot there. I think it will make sense also when cross-chain is more of a thing, because you just strengthen it more and more. Like this, what makes Death Star cool is that it's looking at what other protocols are doing and improving upon it, and then adding our own twist. So it's not really something you need to rush. It's just a matter of we can keep looking to see what people are building and say, that did work, that didn't work. Okay, what would we improve about this? To give us the competitive advantage and to give Dragonx a competitive advantage. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Oh yeah, actually, CZ replied to me. I got a couple hundred follows from that actually. It's kind of cool. Like the guy, he's an OG. He's got 9 million followers on Twitter, and yeah. I mean, obviously, I knew that was the prince and not the president of Bhutan, but I had a sense that he would want to correct that. Pretty sneaky, eh? It's nice to get some engagement. I recommend you guys do the reply guy thing. It's actually pretty effective. Like, don't just tweet to your small audience. Grow your audience by replying to the big accounts, because these big accounts do reply to small accounts. They naturally engage. So, I mean, the sooner you can, obviously, if you're like in the first few minutes, you have the highest chance of someone responding to you. Ideally, like within 1 minute or 30 seconds of the person posting. If you post, there's a high probability. For example, with that Bhutan one, that was within like 10 or 15 seconds of him posting it. So that's the first comment you read, right? His mental state hasn't changed. He's still going to do that one look back to look to see who looked at it and who commented. And if you're within that one look back period when he actually checks his tweet before it gets overwhelmed, then you might have a chance. So you guys should really consider doing replies. Tweeting in an echo chamber is also not as good as tweeting underneath someone's tweet who may respond to you, who may have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. Obviously, be respectful. Don't be a dickhead. But that is a good way of growing your awareness. Another thing is you don't need to blindly shill TitanX or Dragonx. Go in with the intention of getting followers, not of shilling your bag, because so many of these comments are just promotional cryptocurrencies. But if you make a thoughtful comment, people will follow you, and then you follow up, and they see what you're about, right? So I think that's the best way to do the reply. Is you don't just dump some image of TitanX or something like that. You go in adding value, you get followers, they see what you're about. Okay, so I would take that approach. It's not possible for Shogun to go into farms because it's a tax token on V2, and we only support V3 pairs. But the volume is routing through X28, which we are supporting. Why we choose PowerX? See, the thing about this product is not really like it's not about the branding, it's not about the logo. It's just a platform for promoting. So we didn't think too much about the name. There's actually someone else who's going to be doing promotions on PowerX that kind of said, "What do you think about this name?" We said, "That's great." So it's not, the points of PowerX is not to be a brand. It's simply to be a platform for people to use to promote other brands effectively. What are my thoughts on the Interpol? I think that it's probably coordinated because they're probably going to lose the court case. It's most likely trumped up charges, and that's what I think. I think we all know that Richard is a man who acts in good faith. I have a ton of respect for Richard, even though I definitely troll the Pulse Chain community. Like, I have a big bag of Pulse Chain, big bag of PulseX. I probably have more Hex than like 90% of Hexicans. I've been in Hex since 2020, early 2020. So I'm definitely a Hexican, and I think Richard's awesome. I really wish that he would come back. I think it'll be great for both communities. It would just make cross-chain even better for TitanX. I think it's obvious at this point, like, given everything that's happened, that we've seen happen, is that, these agencies are weaponized. I think everyone who's paying attention knows that these agencies are weaponized to a degree to put pressure on people, which is really unfortunate, but it's where we are. Mo, are you going to join up? Okay, Mo's going to join up in 20 minutes. What do I think of Hydra? Well, it seems to be kind of rounding out on the bottom. I'm not sure. Not financial advice. Couldn't tell you. I think cool thing about Hydra is there's no staking unlocks. This is it. Like, it is what it is right now. You don't have to expect some other people to dump later who wanted to dump now. So you might see a more violent upward movement. Maybe not. Obviously, it's your own speculation. But the idea behind Hydra was get it all done in the beginning, get it out of let the sellers get it out of their system, and then turn it in reverse, right? Because the buy and burn covers just about the entire supply at this point, right? And that's before PowerX. That's before TitanX goes up and the mining ROI is buoyed, or Dragonx goes up and the mining ROI is buoyed, right? So what's going to happen in TitanX is that over the next few months, the tide is going to turn. And when the pendulum, I know I'm using some stupid analogies one after another, but let's just use the pendulum analogy. Right now, the pendulum swung. People were really fudding. There was tons of FUD, unnecessary, and about too much supply, about buying MERS, blah, 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 blah. All of it totally unnecessary, just dragging the community further down, to be honest with you guys. It's something we should also talk about is like, this kind of fudding does not help your bags. Going into TitanX chat and complaining doesn't help your bags. It hurts your bags because TitanX is a reflexive system, right? It's like any crypto. The leaf creates the reality, right? So when a bunch of people shed their negative emotions into the chat, that actually creates downward pressure on the chart. It's hurting your own bag. So you get these people going in, I can't believe it's still down. I thought this was supposed to blah, 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 blah. You know, I thought this was supposed to 10,000x. It's like, dude, then just sell, because all you're doing is hurting the entire community, right? Ultimately, what needs to happen is for those people to exit. Either we boot them out, or they just self-select and leave. And only then do you get your bottom. So you do not contribute to that, because it's not helpful, especially when the numbers were just dropping to irrational levels, guys. Like the buy and burn at one point was like more than the entire stake supply. So it's more than that is right now. But when there was a lot more staked, it was more than that. I mean, the cumulative amount of buy and burns almost was equal to the amount of TitanX in the system, like the dollar value of the TitanX in the system, which is absurd. So like you were at that level of FUD, and you had people coming into chat complaining and crying about a speculative crypto that nobody knows the future about, right? You have the community and you have the builders who are also part of the community. All this stuff is immutable, right? So you have a situation where people are coming in and complaining about something that they should have read about beforehand and known that there were risks, known that there was inflation, and known that there are like sellers and that this is bonded to ETH, right? But then they suddenly act like they deserved a free lunch and they deserved us to save them. And now they're suddenly so deeply surprised that that's the case, that the price went down. This is highly speculative. You know, it doesn't make any sense. So, and then you have all these people who are literally going in and hurting their own bags. It blows my mind. And so I just started to ban them in Dragonx, because there's simply no room for that. Like, we have so much good stuff going on, guys. We have so much stuff we can help people with. Compared to 99% of crypto, we're way more upright. Like, we have audits, we have docs, devs. People are going to speculate. They might as well speculate here, right? It's a much better place. Okay. Dev allocations are fairly reasonable, like Dragonx 8%. I mean, you have dev allocations that are in 90%, 80%. You know, look at what just happened with Algorand. Okay, I don't want to insinuate, but it sounded like the founder of Algorand just dumped a bunch of tokens, like $300 million of tokens of his personal wallet, right? So like, there's that, and there's probably hundreds of thousands of people who are kind of victimized somewhat in that situation. And then you have like Dragonx team and have like 8% of the supply. Like, if we dumped everything, the price could, everything could go up again very fast. So it's so silly, especially when you have like ways to cash out without ever hitting the market. Like, you have people can sell into a stable coin pretty soon. And so there's no reason to have any FUD around this ecosystem. It blows my mind. Then you have the liquidity FUD. It's like, what do we have? We have BNB FUD, liquidity FUD. We had, other FUD. I won't get into it. It's a bit negative. There's so much good stuff coming, guys. Shogun Hydra LP. I guess you could soak up some Hydra and throw it into a V2 LP. But I don't know why that would be super helpful. RH stables will now get frozen. I don't know about that. That might be a little bit extreme. I mean, that's people's money, right? You can't just eliminate that. They probably would want to reclaim it. I really doubt that his staples are going to get frozen. That's too extreme. Yeah, Hydra Vortex is coming up. We have 484 on Twitter. I think that's just people scrolling by the feed. I don't think that's actually 285 total views on YouTube. What do we have? 100. Wait a little bit longer. Get Mo on here. 20 trillion TitanX in V1. How do I boot out negative people? I just ban them from the chat because they're crying. Like, don't cry. You're a grown adult, and number go up, number go down. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Appreciate that. I really appreciate the Merry Christmas. Thanks a lot. Merry Christmas to you guys. I think Shogun's gonna have vault-like gains for sure. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a really competitive token. I don't think is Uniswap freezing Hex. I thought they just delisted it like from the UI. I wouldn't worry about it. The Hexicans are extremely, extremely devoted. I think the bridge actually got clogged in the other direction. People were bridging in to buy the dip. So that goes to show you the kind of community. So I wouldn't worry. I think Hex is going to do fine. Hex is one of the strongest tokens ever made, I would say, ever built. It's probably like the strongest community in crypto. Think about everything they've been through. Imagine if us Hexicans didn't have to go through that, where Hex would be. My God. I honestly don't know why Hydra was not paired with Shogun. There may be a good reason. Potentially because maybe Jake was thinking that the price performance should be most closely tied to Dragonx and should not be diluted with any other pairs. But I don't know. Merry Christmas. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate your comment. No, Dragonx stakes are immutable. They can't be touched. They can't be burned. They're simply immutable. Dragonx is sitting at about 50% of the entire staking pool now, which is solid. I think there'll be more to come. Dragonx buy and burns haven't really added. Yeah, Hexagons have been through a ton of FUD, and I have to say that this is a lesson that you guys can learn, which is that basically nothing can break a crypto except the community abandoning it. That's what breaks a crypto. It's not FUD, it's not founders leaving, it's not even rug pulls. It's not even police, interdictions. It's like only the community abandoning it because ultimately it's just software on the internet that anyone can run. So basically, like the only thing that can kill a crypto is the community abandoning it. So keep that in mind, and that's why you should really stop people from fudding because it just hurts the ecosystem. Concern trolling is totally unnecessary. And you can always DM me if you have a concern. If you really have a concern and you don't just want to vent to thousands of people, DM me, okay? Or DM an admin, like if you think there's a legitimate concern. You don't vent your emotions to 13,000 people in the TitanX chat. That's kind of inappropriate, to be honest. Do we work on Solana? No, we've never built anything on Solana. Actually, we built one small thing on Solana, but it could be interesting. I guess DM me, see what the opportunity is. Okay, Hydra is paired with Shogun. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a deal either way. Yeah, there has been a ton of FUD about liquidity and founders falling for it, which is so silly. I already gave my official position on that. I tried to help the guy with audits. These guys don't never listen to me. There's just a certain group of people who they never listen to my advice, and then they're like, "Ah, you were right. I'm sorry." Yeah. Well, if you skimp on auditors, then I just don't know what to say. Like, and then to come back and then to act like we're acting in bad faith, like, and that the bind burns are somehow for our personal benefit is just so silly, and it's really unprofessional. So also just to position yourself as some kind of savior when your project wrecked everybody, and you wouldn't take the advice of experienced devs. It's like it's not a position you should stand on. I had nothing against the guy. Like I don't know why he had to take that tactic. I really don't care if you pair with Ether at all. Like it doesn't affect me. I mean some people probably care more than I do, but from my perspective, like I really don't care if you pair with ETH whatsoever. It doesn't good for you, go for it. But to pair with ETH, um, and then say like I'm pairing with ETH because I need to save you from Jake and save you from Eric, and that they may be acting in good faith, and like I can't in good conscience allow them to hold this ecosystem hostage. It's just so it's absurd, frankly absurd. So that's the part that bothered me. Like I really don't care what you pair with, man. Go for it. Like I'm focused on Dragonx succeeding, and TitanX is a good product to pair with. Mo,
How are you, sir?
good man. It's been too long.
I got a delay going. Do I sound all right?
You're definitely chopped up. I don't know if other people are seeing you choppy, but yeah, you're choppy in mind.
Do I sound okay? I'll just turn my camera off.
Yeah. Oh man, really?
All right. Yeah. Well,
No, no video.
if it works better this way. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. If you want to see my face, hey.
Yeah, man. It's been a while since we hung out, man. Like on a call or anything, actually. So I'm really glad you're here. Thank you for joining up.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I told you would, so I've been scrambling because at the last second I was like, oh, I don't think I can do this. Nope, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get on. So
nice, thank
how
you.
Are
Appreciate
you,
that.
I'm glad to be here. Yeah, man.
Sweet. Yeah, I guess we can jump to the announcement, man. Actually, I'm not set up to share my screen, but are you? Because you could share your screen actually. You can... If you're not, that's fine. Actually, let me see. Let me see if I can share without showing too much stuff. I don't like to do this live.
Yeah, I know.
Nah, I'm just gonna share the link. So so go to dragonx.win if you aren't already, and you will see there's a new tab called Dragonx DAO. So we're launching Dragonx DAO. It's basically a way for you guys to vote to how you want the bind burns to run. That's effectively it. It's a voting system for the bind burns. Because from our perspective, like it's just a couple $1 million, and there's been a lot of people who have been upset about the so-called management of it or lack of using it. Ultimately, we're talking about $100 million asset, plus $100 million plus dollar asset. So honestly, for our team, we're like, should we use it right now? Maybe, whatever. Like, but then we don't want to have this onus on us of when are they going to use it? You know, are they using it for themselves? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? We're not. Like, we don't care. We want you guys to be happy. I think honestly, the collective wisdom of the Dragonx holders is probably better than us anyway. Like, we don't claim to be geniuses. I think we did it already. We did a fantastic job for the community at the lows. With the first tranche of buy and burn, we effectively took 25% of the supply off the market, $11 million of Dragonx at the current price. So, you know, we've done our part. We've stewarded it. Now we're going to let the community do the stewardship. What we're going to do is we're just going to propose. We're going to have a series of like reasonable proposals for how the buy and burn should be run. And then people who have a certain amount of Dragonx will be able to vote on that. So, I mean, I don't think like, so that's kind of our continued stewardship, right? Like we're not totally stepping out, but we're saying like, okay, you know, within a reasonable amount, we don't want to have a 100% usage within 1 minute type of thing, right? Because someone would probably vote for that. So we're going to say like, okay, here are some reasonable numbers like that we think make sense. We're at a good place in the market right now where I feel like we're about to turn a corner in Dragonx. Let's just let the community have fun, and use these funds in a way that they think is best for Dragonx. And so that, I think that's where we're going. That's kind of the logic behind this. It's like, if you guys knew how much we were doing and how buy and burn is just like another tool for us, you would be way less focused on it. Like we're focused on like up here. We're trying to go like way up, and there's this like discussion about like these few $1,000,000, which is ultimately, I mean, the actual volume on Dragonx is in the like we've had multiple millions per day. For months we were at 2 million volume per day, you know. So it's not, for us, it's never been this huge game changing thing, but it's had become a point of FUD, and it's become a point of just unnecessary, like it's an unnecessary point to talk about. You know what I'm saying, Mo? Like it's not a big deal to us.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
I think
perfect sense.
Yeah. Go ahead.
My fucking camera just sucks. No, I was gonna say that it makes perfect sense, and I'm kind of with you. Like I don't care about the buy and burns anymore. They're absolutely insignificant in terms of the roadmap and where we're going. But like you said, it's just this constant repeating, nagging FUD that every now and then just keeps popping up. And it's like a whack-a-mole, and it's just getting dumb. And so while you were saying this, I was on mute, and I'm just like pumping my hands in the air because I'm like, this is the last thing you can hit FUD with, and now it's gone. So what are you gonna do? Like, let's. Yeah. I'm stoked. This is a great move,
dude. I know. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, why wouldn't we're going to enter such a strong bull market? Oh, actually, are you sharing your screen right now? Can I add this to the stage?
Okay. Yeah.
So here we go. Yeah. So basically, like, we're aiming so high, guys, that like a few $1,000,000 is, it's gonna get burned either way. Like, it feels like we're bottoming out anyway with Dragonx. Let's give folks the opportunity to decide, the holders to decide what to do with these funds, and just move on from there. Like, we really don't care that much. I think there's, it's a way. It bothers me because it's a way for people who are so-called influencers to just mine engagement off you guys and give you FUD and hurt your bags because they already sold their bags and they're not prepared for another 10x or 100x. They can't handle it, because if we do another 10 or 100x, it's going to make them look very, very bad. You have to understand that, like, these guys aren't builders, right? Like, they are effectively just kind of leeching off of your engagement. So once they sell, if it starts to go up again, they look like idiots, right? Because part of what they do is to call projects. So they get in, they're all about it, right? Then they're like, okay, what do I go on to next? Like, what's my next thing? I'll dump this. Now let me shit on it, like, so that it does badly. I can hurt the trajectory, and then I can move on to my next thing, and people will be like, he was right. Let's move on. Well, we're not moving on, right? So I don't really care. So I think this is a good move. I think that it's the kind of thing where, like, if held Dragonx this long, right, and you've got thousands of dollars of Dragonx, like, I think it's great that you should be able to vote on this, honestly. So it's going to be probably like a 1,000, or I don't know. People, we can talk about it a little bit in chat, but I was thinking like between $1,000 and $5,000 minimum, because we don't want people who have super small bags who are just like getting dust to kind of start voting. And what we'll probably do is have people lock, and they have to lock their tokens to vote, and then there's a locking period. So like, they can't just come in and vote for something and then just exit on us, right? So effectively, you lock for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, whatever, and then the buy and burn triggers. And then we were thinking about doing weekly votes. So every week, people can reassess and decide where they think it should go. There won't be like any whale bonuses or anything. So if you have 1,000, you have 1 vote. If you have $1 million worth of Dragonx, you have 1 vote. And so it gives everyone in the community a chance to chip in, and I think wherever we land is going to be reasonable, and it's already a good time in the market to do this. Like, we're already bottoming out here, so let's do it, guys.
That's a good twist to put on there, where everyone just gets 1 vote and there's no whale waiting. I mean, I get the point of that, but for what you're doing here, I think for the goodwill you're showing by turning it over to the DAO, I think that's the way to do it, because that sort of gives I mean, that gives fair crypto just another aspect right there. I mean, you don't have to worry about being weighed out by some whale opinion.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never liked this idea of, oh, it's not fair, it's not fair. Well, as I said before, it's just, is it fair or not fair that the pilot flies the plane and you sit in the back, right? Like, it just, this idea of fair never really gelled with me because it's really not logical at all. But I think for voting, you don't want people to feel like they're being crowded up by a few whales, or like the Dragonx Genesis is going to come in and just decide anyway, right? Like, we're not going to vote anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But even if we did, we would only have a few votes, right? So
Yeah,
unless
that's a great
you're
point to throw out
you're
there.
breaking up coins into hundreds of wallets to overwhelm the populace, like, it's just, come on, it's just not worth our time. And ultimately, that kind of behavior will be traceable, and we're just not interested in playing games like that. At some point, you have to trust. If you don't trust the Dragonx team at this point, and you're going to continue to kind of feed into whatever angle you think is being taken here, other than just giving you guys the opportunity to vote on this, then there's nothing I can do for you. But yeah, so I think voting will be good. Oh, Jake is here, and yeah,
Shout out, Jake.
yeah. The biggest pair. So this is probably related to Hydra pairing with Shogun. So it sounds like he wants it to be mostly paired with Dragonx, right? Like, build on Dragonx stuff is doing really well, right? Like, if you look at what Morpheus has done, and Mo, I know you've been you've been talking a lot about Morpheus yourself, but you've done a good job highlighting them because they're doing really well and they're built on Dragonx.
It's easy to highlight anything in the system that gets fudded in the middle of launch period. I mean, it just has worked out for you almost every single time. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to find something you got into in the launch phase of TitanX that didn't work out for you. So, I mean, yeah, it's easy. And plus, it's a great team. I like the guys. I followed them on Pulse Chain. I'm like you. I've been, well, not quite like you. I'm not so early into Pulse that I was into Hex. But, I'm on the Pulse Chain side too. And, I love Rags. I love watching those guys. So I'm super stoked that they're over here. And it's easy to promote a good team and a good protocol.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're doing great stuff, and I'm looking forward to the aggregator. Yeah, there's some great products launching, man. I don't know if you've gotten any previews of Ascendant yet, but it's looking really, really good. I was testing it today.
I'm super stoked for Ascendant. I mean, don't even get me started about burning Tink. Like, let's fucking go. I'm not going to start that
great, man.
But yeah, like,
I mean, Tink is burning. Like, Tink has burned 20+% of the supply. I mean, that's comparable to Dragonx, right? Or Volt, and it's inflating. It's crazy. The amount of burning that's going to happen on Tink is going to be very heavy, I would say, when volume returns. It's really bullish.
Yeah, can't wait.
It just goes to show you that, some people were saying, like, hey, when the supply comes out to a certain degree, it does become diminishing. The impact of the inflation does diminish, which is cool. I was always thinking, like, well, it's the same economic amount of economic energy, but no, it actually does. There is actually a psychological effect when a certain amount of the supply has gotten out. It does settle down. It settles into like a bottom, which is cool. So it's working out better than we expected. What are you excited about, Mo?
I mean, right now, what I'm most happy about is Titan Farms, because I looked at the numbers the other day and I realized that what I've been making off the Tink token has been allowing me to get into almost all the rest of these build on TitanX protocols. And my bags are significantly larger than they were before TitanX started, or before Titan Farms started, just because I've entered in, and I'm farming on multiple pairs. And there's been plenty of times where I would not have been able to enter in a new protocol because I didn't have any dry powder. Oh, but I had a lot of Tink over here. And so it's allowed me to build my bags up even more, which is wild. I didn't really think that was gonna. I didn't even really consider that possibility in the beginning.
Yeah, I know. I mean, in the beginning, I was watching some people farm, and they were like making 6 figures, man. Like, some guy dumped $100,000 of Tink. Can you believe that?
It's
I was like,
it's
wow,
pretty
man.
nuts.
Yeah, I mean, APYs are going to go back up too. I'm not worried about that. But that was really fun at the beginning of Tink, man. Because people are making a lot. It's still really really good. Don't get me wrong, but that was really fun to watch that.
Yeah,
Um,
that was bonkers in the beginning. But now, I mean, it's the compounding game and building your bags up for each wave as it rides, as we go into each new wave. I've watched one of my bags on one of my pairs, go significantly up, go significantly down, and then come right back almost to even. But meanwhile, I've been making a ton of tink on the side, and
yeah, it's been it's
it's
deferred
working really, really
gratification, you know.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really smart. Like the people who are availing themselves. This is what I say. People panic about the Hydra dip, even though this is totally kind of expected based on what Hyper did. But it's like, man, you have this farm now. You have this amazing farm. Like, don't even worry about it. Just go in, go in and wait for Hydra to do what Hyper did. Theoretically, it's quite possible. Um,
exactly.
so yeah, I mean, it's it's a really good resource for everyone who's dedicated here for more than a few weeks of trading. And I would love if more people got in there. We need to get some stats. We've been meaning to index it, but we need to index the number of farmers, and maybe that's something that I could talk to Mike Dean about. But I would like to get some TitanX Hub information on farms.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get that. Yeah, Tink paying up in Dragonx. Yeah, Ascendant's going to be awesome, man. I'm really excited for this.
Shout out LB. He's in almost every stream.
When we 10x user numbers, everything will blow away. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you need to even have 10x. It would be nice. I feel like we deserve to have at least 100,000 users in this ecosystem. So eventually we will arrive at that, I hope. But they're going to come in one big wave, I suspect, like they have in past bull runs, where 50% of the people come at the very, very end, or more, and they just kind of swamp it for speculating.
Well, even with that coming, we've had some nice progress since the new KOL push, and I've been watching the adoption, and it's not steady; it's increasing. It's
Yeah,
increasing every day, so it's awesome to watch. So I can't even
yeah,
wait
we had a big
until
day.
the wave hits us.
Yeah, I'm interested to try giveaways, because I noticed that we did the giveaway with Shillgates, Dragonx, TitanX giveaway, and that got a lot of followers over to my account. So I'm very interested to see what partnering with Crypto Rover could be like for a giveaway. You know, because
That'd be
he's a
very
hundred
good.
times more than what is he? He's
Yeah.
many times bigger than Shillgates. So that could be really really good. A trading challenge could also be interesting, right? Like you need to actually buy Dragonx to be part of the giveaway.
Oh,
That
there
could
you
get
go. That'd be
quite
actually
nuts.
great.
That could get nuts actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we'll end up doing that. I don't know if Rover necessarily wants to do that, but it's definitely an interesting idea. Other people can do this, by the way. I wanna stress that actually. We're trying to be a model for what other people should be doing inside the community. We're not perfect. Um, we're human. We have our own things that we're working on, our own ambitions and stuff. But it doesn't. There's plenty of people with millions of dollars of Dragonx or TitanX who could do a giveaway, right? There's plenty of other streamers who could gather together some people to pull some Dragonx or TitanX for a giveaway. That could bring in new users. So don't just be active, because ultimately, the more people we have actively marketing TitanX and Dragonx, the more success we're going to have. And so don't act like you don't matter. Don't be a wallflower. Get a real picture. You can even get like one of these stylized AI picture versions of your own picture, like what Mo has there. You know, even that is more relatable than just having like some stupid image. Um, it's be a relatable person and actually communicate your interests out into Twitter, into X, and that's going to be good for everybody. So 2025 is the year of expansion. 2024 was the year of innovation. It was the year of inventing things. And now 2025 is the year to take it to another level in terms of expanding it. So that's my message to you guys. Like, now is the time to expand. Now is the time to be more than just an icon, unless you have a very good reason not to be. And you will attract, as I've said many times, there's a lot of smart people in this community. You'll be surprised what you're capable of communicating if you actually stand on what you believe in and communicate it. So, and don't worry, there'll be plenty of people to tell you're an idiot if you sound like an idiot. That's part of it as well.
All your friends will tell you that no matter what. So that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But hey, also remember that when you talk about something that you're excited about, that you're passionate about, people gravitate towards that. And even more than that, it's a numbers game. And you have no idea when the next conversation or the next post that you make actually grabs someone significant. Maybe you make the post that grabs the next whale's attention. Don't discredit how small you are. You might make a post that 30 of us repost, and then some whale sees that post, and that's what gets him into TitanX. It's a numbers game. Yep. Keep going. But to that end, make it creative and don't just blanket copy and paste over and over and over.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that comes from being your unique self. Like, find ways that you try to communicate what you find interesting about TitanX, or if you can't do that, then at least have very comprehensive posts with images. So some people have done a really good job of having these summary posts where they show the amount burned between days and the rate of burning and what that could mean, that kind of thing. That's super good. And I think all of us are willing to retweet that and amplify that. So just think of it this way. Because we're a community, if you say something valuable, you will be amplified as big as any of the larger accounts within the community. Right? So just imagine it's a matter of improving your messaging and improving your angle. And then you're going to get retweets from all of us, right? Wouldn't you agree, Mo?
100%. And I also parrot what you were saying earlier about, it just doesn't do any good to constantly complain. Like,
yeah. There's a lot of people complaining like this. I really don't understand it. But I think we're getting past it at this point. It's normal to feel bad when the price goes down, but you have to understand that these are reflexive systems. So like the sooner the community comes to terms with the fact that it's not up only, that's when you start to go up again, right? You need to have that sense of, okay, it's gone down. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's stay positive. And that's when the turnaround occurs. And I honestly, the amount of FUD posts has decreased a lot in the past couple of weeks, which signals to me that we're probably at a bottom. That was probably the bottom. I think when people were coming out and screaming about the buy burns and screaming about all the stuff they always scream about when the price goes down, like that whole FUD event, that was probably like the bottom for this downswing. It's kind of telling.
Yeah, and now you're taking away that last angle that they can use.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, we were kind of probably going to do this anyway, just because we think it's a good time for the buy and burn to probably start kicking off, and we want to eliminate any ambiguity around like intentions behind it or anything like that. So, yeah, it's definitely a good time. So I think it's getting toward it being a good time to fire this thing up. We're probably getting toward the bottom with Ethereum. I think when Ethereum does its next big run, and this is not financial advice, I'm just throwing it out there, just bullshitting with Mo. But I think when Ethereum does its next big run, that's when TitanX is going to see the glory. I think we're getting closer and closer by the day here, especially with the burning. The burning just helps. It's just supply and demand, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you show the Dragonx chart about, the 10X boxes as it's moving up and down and moving, but as you're moving through time, you keep moving through the boxes. Like that's what we're doing with TitanX as a whole. So when I hear over the last couple of weeks, people being like, oh man, we're down. I don't know what you're talking about. Because when I zoom out to just day 280, we're like 3X up from day 280. When we were 3X up from 280 on the way up, we were happier than can be. But people who are short-sighted now look at us being 3X up from 280 and they're like, oh man, we're down from 3 weeks ago. Okay. I mean, so yeah, I'm excited about where we're going. I can't even wait to see where this goes as the hyperdeflation just keeps accelerating as the builds keep happening, and then like you said, as Ethereum makes its, hopefully it starts making its move. I've been waiting for it.
I know. Seriously, I mean, Ethereum is really, you guys should be fighting Ethereum, not fighting TitanX at this point.
Right?
I mean, it's not really on us now. You can yell at Vitalik at this point. Jesus.
That's hilarious.
I mean, if this was 2021, we would all look like geniuses by now. But we're gonna just have to fight it out for a bit longer until things turn around, which is fine.
Yeah,
and ultimately,
it's fine. And plus,
honestly, yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say it's funny that we're kind of decorrelated also in moments of when ETH does fall. People kind of flood into us a little bit more, and we kind of pump up in those moments. Not always, but it's kind of fun to watch that. Like, oh, the market's down, we're up. Huh.
Yep. And guys, I honestly don't know like where else I would be building if I wasn't building with TitanX. It really is the best place to build on build DeFi. Which is why I think it's so funny. I don't know what kind of mercenary you are that you're like swapping in and out of this stuff. Like, where are you going, man? I've seen some people chasing meme coins. I've been watching some wallets. They're chasing like SPX 6900 and other shit like that. And power to them. Like, fine, go chase some green candles, whatever. But like, as a builder, this is like the Android's app store. Where else am I going to go? You know, like there's no alternative to this, really. Maybe Pulse Chain, maybe, but there's a lot of infighting and there's a lot of competition there, whereas we're all one team, you know, and you really can't replicate that. I think there might be some communities on other chains that have done it, but in terms of Ethereum, I think we're pretty unique. So there simply isn't another place for us to go. Like, we're very happy here, you know. So we just keep building and keep investing in the community.
I find it funny how rare I go to a coin market cap to actually check the rest of crypto because I'm just so involved in TitanX.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, we're gonna have other ventures and stuff, and you know, but it's just TitanX is such a good place to build. Like, I see us being here for a while. I think other devs probably feel the same way. Like, we've had plenty of conversations with devs that want to come in and build. Some of them you would know actually, but I won't spring it. But there's definitely some interesting potential new devs with audiences coming in.
Don't tease me, I can't handle it.
Pulse Chain is good to build on. Yeah, Pulse Chain is good to build on, sure, for sure. I think we're going to be probably taking TitanX stuff over there. I'd love to see a farm on there.
What do you mean by that? A TitanX farm on Pulse Chain?
Yeah.
Or a giant farms on Pulse Chain that has TitanX and has other stuff?
Yeah, that.
Gotcha.
Because you want to harness the economic energy of the community, right? You want to give them a reward, bring them in, give them awareness about TitanX, and then that volume is also benefiting TitanX, right? It's a win-win for both communities. That's how we probably do it. I mean, there'd probably be some other builders that would come over, but I think that's the way to approach it. Is like, we have a farm there, we have X28, we can build our own stuff on Pulse Chain, and then we have a farm for that burns X28. Excuse me. But then we also have other builder communities that we know and we're connected with that their communities can also benefit on farms. So we get a full ecosystem out of it.
This is the most exciting system to be in.
Yeah, for sure. And you can always expand it, right? Like, it doesn't need to be just us in our little group, right? We can go to another chain, we can go to other communities, and we can build collaboratively with them to make everyone happy, right? And you can bring the TitanX community over to something. It doesn't need to be pure build on TitanX, only TitanX people involved, that kind of thing. I don't think that's necessary either.
Well, I think that's the goal with OmniChain, isn't it? To once we hit that OmniChain point, is to start expanding out and really start ramping up this outreach. I mean, you know, if we start moving over onto Base and we start creating protocols on Base, and then we grab people on Base, and then they start getting more exposed to us, then they move over here. I mean, it could be absolutely bonkers. I don't even think people are ready for all the possibilities of where this thing could go.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like, people, there's the famous quote, man, and it's so true. It's like people underestimate what they can do in 5 years, right? But they overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5 years. You know, and it's kind of a similar situation with TitanX. You know,
That's a good
it's like,
quote.
oh,
I
it's
like that.
stagnating, the price is going down, what's going to happen, blah blah blah. It's like, man, we're just building day by day, right? It's like it's not a linear process. It's like a slow building process, and then it builds up to something, and that takes a lot of effort, and it takes months and months and years sometimes. So that's kind of, it's like there's this vision, and then most people, they expect that vision to be fulfilled within a much shorter time period than it's actually feasible. But then ultimately the vision does come true. Not that I'm saying, obviously I'm not, not financial advice, but it's like every speculative bubble has this cycle where the promise of the thing was front run by speculators, created a bubble, which then crashed, and then ultimately whatever that core value was actually did come to fruition, right? Like the internet and other things, crypto.
Right.
So
That's
that's
a good
what a
point.
speculative bubble is. It's people, they're discounting how long it's going to take for that vision to succeed, and then they jump into it, and then they get burned.
Hey, I got to bounce out. I got to fix lunch
Okay.
for one of the seniors here.
Yeah, no worries. Hey man, thanks for stopping in. It was good to see you.
I appreciate you inviting me on, sir. Sorry, my camera sucks today. Hopefully,
No
we'll
worries.
get a better one next
Next
time.
time.
All
Yeah,
right,
next
man.
time.
Have a good day.
Yeah, see you.
Thank you.
Hey Marco, sorry to hear you're feeling sick, man. Get better. Get better and message me when we can do a stream. Love to get your thoughts on Dragonx DAO. And yeah, guys, I just welcome. It's probably going to be reasonable levels. Like we're not going to give the option to obviously do like $1 million in a day or whatever. But there will probably be some reasonable options. So if you guys want to talk about what those options might be in chat, totally open to that. Morpheus to Titan Farms. It's about volume. We can't just add anything if the volume's too low. Morpheus is great, but we have volume thresholds. I suspect we'll be adding a bunch of pairs, like Matrix, Morpheus, Taurus, Ascendant. All those are in the running for farms, like assuming they get their volume up. The volume will return to all ecosystem tokens at once. That's how it works. It's all bonded liquidity. So no, the funds can't be used for other things. The Dragonx funds must be used to buy and burn Dragonx or TitanX. To buy and stake TitanX or to buy and burn Dragonx. Those are your two options. It's totally immutable. It's always been immutable. This idea also, I think this FUD idea that like it was supposed to be decentralized and the promise was not fulfilled. Actually, no. Like these products launched complete. There was no bait and switch. So effectively, these people who are saying like, oh, this isn't fair DeFi because it wasn't, it's now it's centralized. Man, it was always centralized. Like the Dragonx founders are immutable. We're not changing anything here. We always had a way to, Dragonx basically always had a way to gauge the buy and burn. That's always been a thing. Same with TitanX. So this idea of like, oh, you've stolen the vision. It's like, bro, these contracts haven't changed. So if someone says that we've changed the game or stolen the vision, just ask them if they've ever read the white paper. Ask them, have you ever read the white paper from when these things launched? They probably haven't, or they're gaslighting you. Like they're creating a false they're creating a false narrative for you to fall into so that their critiques can sound valid, when in reality their critiques are totally inane, and they're ultimately just attacking the community that gave them a voice, right? Because none of this stuff has changed from them since the beginning. And that's what kind of peeved me up about the whole, other founder guy, is like, dude, it's always been this way. And we did a lot to help that person be successful, and then they just turned around and decided that we were somehow holding the ecosystem back. It's like, bro, that's just crazy. Like we've invested so much into this ecosystem. I don't know. I mean, that's ultimately up to TitanX Genesis. Like, to each their own. Okay, like that's important to remember. We're deciding to do this. Our buy and burn's not that big. Okay, it's a very different situation because our buy and burn's not that big. Dragonx has lots of burners on it. Hydra's already, I think, probably burned almost as much as what's remaining left in the Dragonx buy and burn. So our buy and burn's at a smaller scale. This is our decision and solely our decision. It's not a opinion for any other founder to take. We try to lead by example, but that doesn't mean you need to do everything we're doing, right? There are multiple ways that you can be a good actor in the system. So don't start with this TitanX should be TitanX. Don't start with this TitanX needs a DAO, blah, 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 blah. This is what we wanted to do. This is our decision as a team, as Team Dragon. And I'm not insinuating at all that the TitanX should be done this way. Like it's very different. It's at a different scale. There's a different supply dynamic, blah, 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 blah. So just let the founder of TitanX do his thing. When it comes to buy and burn, we'll do our thing. And that's all there is to it, guys. Yeah, sure. I'll jump on a stream for Morpheus Aggregator, man. No worries. Morpheus guys are awesome. I think we've already done. Yeah, we did a stream in November. We did a stream early November, I think. Cool, guys. So I think that's basically it. Unless you have other questions, I guess I'll give a few more seconds for questions here. See if anyone else is going to jump on. I think we're basically done. People are relaxing. Well, it's Monday afternoon. All good, guys? Okay. Thanks, guys. I just wanted to give this announcement. We're going to be launching a DAO to handle the buy and burn. Should be fun. I'm interested to see what you guys vote on. It's entertainment for sure. It's going to be fun to see where we land on this. And yeah, enjoy your Christmas. Happy Christmas. I don't know the exact day we're going to launch this. We're probably going to build our own contracts for this. And then we have to get them audited, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be some time. So just keep appraised of it. The buy and burn's not going to be triggered before this thing is launched. So yeah, just keep an eye out for it. I imagine it'll be in the next couple of weeks, but we might get busy with other things that might take until the new year here. But it's definitely coming. So cool, guys. It was great catching up with everybody. Dragonx chat is wide open. So if you have questions, just ask in there. And let's make 2025 a sick year. It's going to be great. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.